Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin broadcasting, as always, live from an undisclosed location at the center of Texas on a pretty chill Friday evening. How is everybody doing out there? I'm doing pretty good myself, all things considered. What's up, Genetic Murray Farms? Welcome back to the stream. I am from the era where anime was Ninja Scroll. I have not watched One Piece. Seems popular. Yes, I am from a similar era of anime. But, you know, I didn't really... The funny thing is, like, with Ninja Scroll... So... I was living in Japan around the time that Ninja Scroll and damn, what was the other one? There are generally two anime that revolve kind of around the anime boom of the mid 90s. Not Dragon Ball Z. It was Ninja Scroll and another ultraviolet one that I forget. The name just slips my mind. But a lot of people were getting into those anime at the time. I was living in Japan, so the anime that I was watching was whatever was on TV at the moment there, which ironically was Dragon Ball Z. That was its original run, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But I got into it then. I didn't really care for Ninja Scroll until way later in life, ironically. I watched it in the theaters. Alamo Drafthouse here in town, they do screenings of popular older anime in the movie theaters from time to time. Got to see Akira, and I think I watched Princess Mononoke in the theater as well at that time, which was great. Like, it's great seeing those old great animations up on a big movie screen. I miss cel-drawn, hand-drawn cell animation. Wish they would bring that back in some capacity. But yeah, I wasn't super into like Ninja Scrolls and the other, whatever the other one is. I forget. It's bothering me. I think it was also Manga Entertainment. Let's see. It wasn't Akira. Maybe it was Akira. I don't think it was Akira. It was something that was, I think it was like equally as violent as like Ninja Scroll. Maybe it was Akira. It could have been Ghost in the Shell as well, but I feel like it was something else. Whatever the case may be, I am from that era of anime as well. One Piece, I started trying to watch One Piece a long time ago. Around the time that Naruto was popping off, I tried to watch One Piece. And it didn't take. And then some years later, I tried again. And again, it didn't take. But it wasn't until this past February when I was like, all right, you know what? I'm actually going to force myself past the first few episodes and really see what this show is all about, deeper into it. And when I did that, I actually did end up getting into it past a certain point. And you know, it was fun. It's fun. Like it's almost like a weird reverse donut in that, like, you know, with a donut, obviously you have the donut hole where there's nothing in the middle, but like the outer sides are good. One Piece is the donut hole. You know, it's like there's nothing on the outside, but like right in the middle is when you get all the good stuff. So, you know, and I have this open. I was thinking about doing this tonight as well. The One Piece arc tier ratings. Just because I kind of want to get that on file, what my thoughts on all the different tiers are, all the different arcs are. so I can talk a little bit more about what I mean when I say that it's kind of a reverse donut. But I got into it, and you know, I got into it before I knew they were doing a live action. I got into it before I knew they were doing a live action Netflix show. So when they first dropped that trailer for the Netflix show, I was not expecting it, and I was like, oh, cool. I mean, that looks, I mean, I have my video reacting to it, but it wasn't anything that I thought. I knew they were making it, but I wrote it off immediately as soon as they announced that they were making it. And then when I was reminded of it later, I was like, oh, Cowboy Bebop was fucking terrible, and so was Death Note, so I'm sure that the One Piece live action is going to be equally as bad. Well, you know, since I'm already talking about it, I may as well just lead off the stream with my thoughts on that. I did think it was going to be awful, and I have my video where I reacted to the initial trailer. And I went back and rewatched some of that because I cut some TikTok videos out of it too. And I was really pretty critical over like costuming and whatnot. Turns out that it really isn't that big of a deal in the show. Like, I actually kind of like a lot of the costumes, and the hair didn't bother me. Nobody's hair bothered me. Well, actually, ironically, the one instance of hair in that show that did bother me was Mihawk's beard, which was the one thing that I actually praised in the trailer. I was like, oh, Mihawk's beard actually looks pretty good. But then, like, in the show, when he's like walking around and talking and whatnot, and they're cutting him at different angles, I was like, oh, actually, his beard looks kind of whack. And I thought it was his natural facial hair in the trailer that they shot, but there was since some behind the scenes footage of the actor in the makeup chair getting the stuff put on him, and yeah, they glued a beard on him, and it definitely looks like a glued on beard in some of those shots too. So, you know, joke's on me on that one. Turns out I was completely wrong on all fronts. Like, Sanji looks fine, Nami looks fine. I was really impressed by Nami. She was definitely the best character on the show, both in terms of like the actor's acting ability, but also like the character's arc, their motivation, their the resonance of their character and their on-screen persona. Like, she definitely was the star of that show. Let me bring something up here. Yeah, she was definitely star of the show. They actually just announced, I think the other day, that they are bringing, they're already renewed it for a second season. One Piece quickly renewed for season 2 by Netflix just 2 weeks after its premiere. So, you know, that's great news. I feel like Netflix has kind of learned, maybe they've learned a little bit of their lesson from The Witcher, because they had announced season 2 of The Witcher before season 1 even dropped. And I was like, well, that's a little bit premature, guys. And it's really funny making that comparison, because to me, One Piece is like a repudiation of the philosophy that the showrunners for The Witcher brought to their adaptation. Because if you were to believe all of the behind the scenes stuff that had leaked about the Witcher production crew not being fans of the source material, not respecting it, and then, you know, whether or not you believe those rumors or not, seeing the incredible deviations and that the story has from the books, and the minimization of characters like, you know, Geralt, the main character, the titular character, the minimization of The Witcher in a show called The Witcher. You can kind of see it gives a little bit of credence to the allegations that the writers and the showrunner don't really like or respect the source material. And, you know, they seem devoted to taking the show in its own direction. Fans be damned, but, you know, fans have been trashing that series and that production for a while now. And to the point where, I mean, even Henry Cavill left, so there's no telling what's going to happen with regards to season 5, or season 4 rather. I know they're making it with Liam Hemsworth, but, you know, is that really on the books? One Piece live action is the opposite. It is a outlandish homage and adaptation to the manga and anime. At some points to a fault, I would say. It does it really well, though. It actually adapts it in a way that I didn't think was possible because the show is just so damn wacky. Ninja Scroll, the film or the series? Yo, what's up, Oak City Gamers? Welcome back to the stream. I've only seen the film. I didn't even know that there was a... I didn't even know it was a series. The Pioneer Classic 16:9 Up-Res was a favorite. My favorite show is a toss-up between Bebop and Champloo. I like Samurai Champloo. I need to rewatch it because I really hadn't watched it since... I think I watched it during its original run on Adult Swim way back in the day, and I hadn't seen it since. There's a lot of those old shows that I really need to take some time to watch again, like Samurai Champloo and Outlaw Star. I was real big on that. I think I have the VHS tapes of Outlaw Star from when that initially dropped. I was real big on that when that came out. But I hadn't seen it since, and I'm talking like that had to have been like the late 90s or maybe even 2000. So I need to go back and rewatch that. But yeah, I like Champloo. Bebop is always an undisputed classic. No one's going to argue with you about the anime Bebop. They'll argue with you about the Netflix Bebop, and rightfully so. I mean, that's the reason why I was initially uninterested in the live-action One Piece. That Netflix adaptation did no favors, which is weird because you would think that a setting... If you were going to make an assumption about live-action adaptations, and you were using... Cowboy Bebop and One Piece as like examples, you would assume that the more grounded, realistic sci-fi kind of setting of Cowboy Bebop would be easier to adapt into live action, would feel more natural, and you would think that the One Piece one would be too wacky, too cartoonish, and not fun to watch. But it's the opposite. Somehow it ended up being the opposite. Like the live action Cowboy Bebop was maybe cartoony is not the right word, but it didn't seem right. It didn't look right. And the adaptation just didn't feel... It didn't have the weight. Like, for some reason, it looked like... It kind of felt like I was watching a high school production of Cowboy Bebop. I know that's kind of a reductive and maybe a overly mean criticization of that show, but... It just felt like a lot of the production on that, and honestly, I kind of have, and I'll explain what I mean with respects to One Piece. I kind of have the same opinion about One Piece as well, but for Cowboy Bebop, it was like, yeah, they're hitting the notes here and there. Like they've got some scenes that they pulled from the anime, and then okay, that's cool, but it kind of feels like I'm watching high schoolers like pay homage to the best scenes from Cowboy Bebop, you know, and it definitely felt that. What helped it feel that way even more so were the ridiculous costumes and the really out of place casting for everyone outside of the dude that played Jet. I like the old anime because the best of it all limited, a beginning, middle, and end. Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like about One Piece. Is that it's just so damn long, and for the anime it's long for dumb reasons. I really like stories that can tell you something, and I mean that's a symptomatic of shonen in general, but I really like stories that can tell you like give you a really fleshed out detailed world, good character building. They could let you sink into it for some good amount of episodes. Not necessarily like 8 or 10 or 13. Give me some episodes, like, you know, give me 30, maybe 60 episodes, even 90's fine. But in and out though, and give me a solid ending, and I'm good with that. Anything outside from that, like if you're talking about 600 episodes, 800 episodes, right now One Piece is at like 1,060 episodes. Like that's a bit too much. It's kind of reminiscent of why I ended up skewing more towards reading manga over American comics, because even though I grew up reading X-Men and shit, and I'm still a diehard X-Men fan, like there's only like a very particular run of X-Men that I will read over and over and over again. And that's basically, it's the classic era. It's from the Phoenix Saga on through, I guess, Onslaught. Maybe Age of Apocalypse. I guess it starts to dip after Age of Apocalypse, but I'll throw the Onslaught Saga in there too. And then after that, I take a break for about 10 years or so, and then I go back and I read a few of the Grant Morrison run. I read a few of the Whedon run. I read Schism and, just things here and there. But the problem is with a series that has been going on for so long, and it's constant, like new issues every month or so. You rehash a lot of stories. Characters get overdeveloped. They have to do weird reboots, and it's just, it ends up not being very, fulfilling. I don't feel connected to it anymore. There's this particular run that I feel connected to, and I'll just reread those over and over. I feel that way about a lot of long form stuff. So I got used to reading manga because, it just gave me that. It gave me the meat, and I didn't have to like cut off any of the fat. Shampoo has little jokes. They say things about the anime because Shampoo takes a grounded approach to the Kyoto era. I really need to rewatch it. And I like the soundtrack too. Cowboy Bebop had such a unique feel. Netflix Bebop wasn't that bad. They had to push through. I love Jet Black in the show. Yeah, Jet was awesome. Like, the dude that played Jet was great. Don't get me wrong on that. I like that dude. And they wrote him well too. But I may have to disagree with you on everything else, man. I thought that show was pretty awful. Though Spike was fine, Faye Valentine was off. Faye was a femme fatale. Nah, she could kill you with a look if she wanted to, but she's so stuck she can't see how good she is. The anime is super in-depth and intricate. It never tells you the story behind the words. I didn't really care. I like John Cho, but I didn't care for him as Spike, to be honest. I never got Spike vibes off of him. It just felt off. It just felt off. And when it's not off, like everybody, part of what ingratiated the One Piece fan community to the live action is the cast. Like, that's the main thing. Not just part, like the cast is the main thing. Everybody is like, oh, these guys are the Straw Hat Pirates. Iñaki Godoy, who plays Luffy, he is Luffy. He seems like Luffy. He has all of his mannerisms, or he does a really good job of portraying him at the very least. And the best promo that Netflix can do for that show, the best promo they have done, has just been getting the cast together and just asking them random questions and watching them vibe off of one another. Because they all vibe off of one another naturally the way that the Straw Hats do in the show. So everybody loves the cast because it's like watching the show just looking at the cast themselves. Perfect casting. Knocked it out of the park. And that does a lot of your heavy lifting for you. Like, if you can get the casting right, it'll handle, you can paper over some of the other incongruities. And to me, like, Cowboy Bebop just didn't do that. Like, I did like Jet, but the show isn't a Jet vehicle. Faye, yeah, she didn't feel right to me. She was too. Faye should have been more femme fatale, and she seemed too manic pixie dream girl or whatever. She seemed kind of like that. She had those quirky manic pixie dream girl vibes that just doesn't convey Faye Valentine to me. I would love to see a live action Ninja Scroll movie that leans heavily on horror and practical effects. That would be really awesome, actually. I'm surprised they haven't done anything like that yet. Hollywood loves an adaptation or a remake off of an existing IP, so you know what? Write you up a script and pitch it. I'm sure someone will be willing to do it. Netflix Bebop should have done the show minus the Vicious stuff. Vicious was awful in that show too. He just looked weird. That dude looked really weird. Keep doing that. And spicing the background, the backstory stuff is a delicate thing. The guy whose director makes a big deal. I say I agree with your High School Musical take on the Netflix show. When I say that, it is the live action, was a Disney style remake. I think, and another part of the problem, and you're talking about, you know, getting into like the backstories and whatnot. Making a live action show for Netflix is a much different thing than, you know, doing an anime, because with anime, if you're doing a series, even if it's a short series, like a one season, like a one and done, you know, one season kind of thing, you're still working with 26, 27 episodes or something. And you could do a lot in that time frame. You could do slow burn character development. You could do scenes that flesh characters out and their motivations a lot more. You can ingratiate your audience to the characters more. You can't do that with 8 episodes. That's always going to be a problem. It was a problem for Cowboy Bebop, and in my view, it's a huge problem for One Piece. There's a lot of stuff that just gets short shrift because they just don't have the time, and it really, in my view, it affects the show in a way that gives it a little bit of the high school production kind of vibes. The show wasn't dirty enough. They will option it again. Honestly, Netflix should do a live action adaptation in film, not a show, and push closer to the source. I feel like in the future, just for budgetary purposes, you're going to start seeing a lot more. You're going to start seeing a lot more of these things being adapted as movies rather than shows. We've already seen it with Disney. They're shifting what used to be Disney Plus TV shows for Marvel into movies instead of shows. Armor Wars was going to be a TV show. Now they're going to make it a movie. I saw something the other day. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but there are rumors that the Donald Glover Lando TV show is no longer a TV show. They're going to make that a movie as well. So I think you're going to start seeing these things start moving more to being movies rather than TV productions, just for cost reasons. That's the problem with Star Wars 2. It's not dirty enough. It just depends on what you're watching there. They could have done vignettes from the original. Yes, I agree, but the original Bebop did that more. It's just clean, like a clean version. That's no good. Well, if Disney Plus was any good outside of the 5 crap things they offer on the service, well, I mean, that's a different argument there. I don't disagree with that, but that is a little bit of a different argument. One Piece isn't going to be a one-off. Netflix has renewed the charming adventure series for a second season. Executive producer and the creator of the original manga, Ichiro Oda, said in a video announcing the pickup on Thursday. To the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, what do you think of Season 1 live-action One Piece? I spent a long time working on it with Netflix and Tomorrow Studios. It seems people around the world have been enjoying the show, which makes the hard work from the production team truly worth it. To everyone who's been a fan of One Piece over the years, to those who experience One Piece for the first time, thank you so much. 2 weeks after the launch, I just received some great news. Netflix has decided to renew the show. The adventure of Iñaki and the live-action Straw Hats will continue onward. It'll still take a while to get the scripts ready, so please be patient. From here on, it seems to me the Straw Hats will need a great doctor. We will see. Alluding to the addition of Chopper, which is definitely going to happen in Season 2. Since the show's launch on August 31st, One Piece has been the number one in Netflix's internal top 10. I really wish that they were forced to actually reveal their real streaming numbers. One Piece follows Iñaki Godoy's Monkey D. Luffy on a legendary high seas adventure after finally deciding to follow his dreams, all that stuff. We know all that stuff. So the main thing is that it's actually been picked up for a Season 2. So my initial thoughts on the live action One Piece is that it's a good show. It is a good show, but it's a good show for fans of the anime and manga. Is it a good show for people that aren't fans of the anime or manga? Maybe, but if somebody who isn't a fan of manga or anime or whatever watch it and like came away with a bad opinion, I wouldn't fight them on it. I wouldn't argue it with them. It's so tailored towards the fandom in respects to how accurately it adapts the manga and anime, that it's hard for me to imagine anyone who isn't already steeped in that world, or at the very least someone who isn't already used to the wackiness of anime or manga. Hard for me to imagine them being on board with what goes on in the show. To me, that's a big plus in the show's direction, because One Piece does two things well, in my view. One, it has an incredible world. I don't know of very many works fiction that are as well fleshed out, as largely built, and as detailed and as creative and inventive as One Piece's world. Like, maybe Lord of the Rings can compete with the lore and breadth of One Piece. But other than that, I really can't think of any other universe. That's I guess if you wanted to count the Marvel comics and DC comics, but that's kind of a cheat code, since that's been built out over 50 years by hundreds of different writers, whereas Lord of the Rings and One Piece was all fleshed out by one dude respectively. I can't think of really anything else, but it's such a great world, and I love being in it whenever I watch the show. The anime or the TV show. The TV show does a great job of translating that world on film too. It's an expensive ass show. 18 million reported per episode was the budget, and you see it. You actually do see it. They built ships, and the ships look fantastic. They built a lot of the sets, and the sets look fantastic. The costumes try to stay as true to the anime and the manga as possible. In a lot of respects, no problems. There are a few characters that look a little too out of place, but considering everything else that's going on in the world at any given moment, you don't really spend a lot of time stressing about that sort of thing. It does a really good job of I guess it hits the. All right, well, a few more positives before I start talking about the negatives, because in my view the positives do outweigh the negatives, but I want to draw some attention to some things that bother me about it. Positive, like I said, the cast were perfectly cast, and they all do an amazing job in their roles. I liked watching them on screen. They have great chemistry with one another, and I can't wait to see more. I'm not getting to negatives yet. I'll save that for the negative. Another positive. I was wondering how they would condense the 60 some odd episodes that the East Blue arc contains into 8 episodes. They did it, and they did a pretty good job of it too. Now, they did take some liberties. There are some story arcs that don't exist in the manga or the anime that they created for the show, that kind of bends and breaks some of the canon, but it does it in a way that makes sense, and it actually is additive to the flow of the story for the season. So I don't have any problems with that. Mainly talking about the Garp and Cody the Garp and Cody arc. Really well done. I like the actor that plays Garp too. I was a little uncertain about him also in that trailer, but he did a great job. And he did a lot of really, really subtle, funny physical acting too. There's a lot of really good physical acting in this show. Again, Nami's character to me was the standout in all ways, both in terms of her looking natural. I thought for certain that her hair was going to bother me, but no, her hair looks great, looks natural. She's a great actor. All of her scenes were compelling, especially the really emotional ones. She's a great physical actor. I laughed when she fell in line and started marching along with the other soldiers in that weird way that they march. That was hilarious. She really was the character that kind of strung all of the other weird characters together. She kind of serves as sort of a representative of the audience members to a degree. And then it was smart for the writers to put her in that role. Because then also it makes the emotional beats with her character hit a little bit harder. So she was fantastic. And Iñaki Godoy was a great Luffy too. My big concern with Luffy was he was going to be annoying as fuck, because I don't like Luffy in the One Piece anime. Like, he's one of the most annoying characters. Well, I like Luffy. I got in some heat by saying I hated Luffy. I don't hate Luffy. I like him, but he is one of the more annoying characters at times. And I was wondering how they were going to translate that character's like habits without him being like overly annoying. And they did a pretty good job. So they handled all of that really, really well. The fight choreography is really well done. I was kind of surprised, especially with respects to Zoro. His swordplay, and I know that the actor that plays Zoro is actually a trained, weapons martial artist. So, they cast him perfectly for that role because, he looks the part when he's swinging the swords around. A lot of that stuff looks really, really good. The pacing, obviously, the biggest downside to watching One Piece, the anime, is that it is it is absolutely the worst paced anime in the world, which is why One Piece exists. Fan edit that cuts out all of like the wasted time just staring at one another or watching a leaf blow in the wind for like 30 seconds at any given moment, in the show, that just stretches that shit out so long. One Piece cuts all of that out, so it makes it actually digestible and watchable. And this show does it to an even more psychotic degree just because it has to. Which is cool, because then it gives people who, may have been interested in One Piece a easy in, right? Like, I don't want to watch 60 episodes just for it to get good. Okay, but now you can just watch 8. You can get the Cliff Notes version, I guess. And it's a really good job at that. So, all of that's a big plus. Music's great too. All of that's great. And again, I do like the show. Whoa! Hey, Bianca, welcome back to the stream. Salt? Wait, salt for what? What am I salty about? What are you giving me the salt bits for? And thank you for the bits too. I appreciate that. I'm just speaking the truth. Nothing I'm saying about this has not been already said before. But speaking of salt, though, I guess this is a good segue to get into, I guess, my criticisms of the show. And there aren't a lot, but the one big criticism I have is probably something that's just like unavoidable for them, because they are adapting 60 episodes into 8 for this one season. So much of like the really good character building stuff is absent, and it's okay if you leave a couple of character building moments out here and there for time's sake, but when you leave out so many core character motivations and you leave out so much, you can't shoot so much of the great team building moments. It contributes to the show feeling like it's a high school production. It felt like by the time I was watching like the last, episode, and they're just speeding through Arlong Park, it felt like I was watching a high school production. Like, the 12th grade class is going to put together a performance of like, the One Piece East Blue arc, and then the characters, the students come out on stage, their respective characters, and they just do like a really super quick abridged version of the One Piece arc. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that part from the anime. Yeah, that's when they did this. Oh, I remember that part. That was when they did this. And like, you don't get all the really good character moments, but you get the impactful moments, the famous moments. Luffy putting the hat on Nami, you get that, and you get all the other cool stuff. The duel between Mihawk and Zoro, you get that. But then there's so much stuff that you don't get that it just makes it feel like you're watching like a super abridged Cliff Notes version. And that sucks in and of itself, but then it really sucks when it starts to affect like character motivations. For instance, why would Netflix Luffy want Usopp to join the Straw Hat Pirates? Like, it doesn't make any sense for that character to become a Straw Hat after the Syrup Village episode in the show. Doesn't make any sense. In the anime and manga, it makes perfect sense because there is so much more that you get exposed to with respects to Usopp's character. Like, he aside from the fact that he immediately gets along really well with Luffy and Zoro, and Nami too, to a degree, it's his resolve to protect the village and to protect Kaya from Captain Kuro, despite the fact that he doesn't have the strength to, despite the fact that he very obviously is going to get killed in his effort to, and he gets the shit beat out of him too. He gets the shit beat out of him, and he still is determined to protect the village. Like, there's a scene in the anime where once Zoro and Luffy and Usopp find out about Captain Kuro's plan to attack the village and kill Kaya, Usopp is like, I'll defend the city, I'll defend the village myself. I'll do it by myself if I have to. And that's the moment when Zoro and Luffy go, we're going to join you. And then Usopp is like, what? Why? You don't know me or any of us. Why would you risk your life for us? And Zoro responds by saying, you're an honorable person. You know, and it's like, okay, this is why they want Usopp. Like, he's an honorable person. He wants to do right, protect people, protect those he cares about. And Luffy's main runner, he even says it to Kobe, both in the anime and live action, is being willing to put your life on the line for what you believe in. And in that arc, Usopp, as weak and cowardly as he is, does not hesitate to put his life on the line to protect what he believes in and who he cares for. And that is what makes Luffy say, okay, this guy's a Straw Hat. I want him on my team. You don't get any of that in the live action show. Like, in the live action show, Usopp shows up. There's some discussion about Usopp's dad, Yasop, who was a member of Shanks's pirates crew, and Usopp tries to protect Kaya from Kuro and can't. And then there's a fight with Luffy and Kuro, and between Zoro and those cat twins. And then, you know, they win. After that, Kaya gives them a ship as a way of saying thanks. And then suddenly they're just like, hey, Usopp, come along. And it's like, well, what? Why would they want Usopp? He didn't really do anything. He didn't really give them any good reason to, like, go to bat for him. So it doesn't make any sense that they would want Usopp. They could have just as sensibly asked Kaya to come along. Like, hey, Kaya, thanks for the ship. Since this is your ship, you're giving it to us. Come on board. You know, that would have made more sense than Usopp. So, and it's a bummer because Usopp is my favorite Straw Hat, and he's such a great character. He has so much depth to him, and the Syrup Village arc exposes both that in him, and also it's the first time you understand what the Straw Hats are all about. Because, and I think there's a big misconception with respects to Zoro too, and I'll get to that next. Zoro is driven just as much by, like, honor and by doing right by people as Luffy is. Like, they're all in syncopato on that. Like, they're good guys. Like, they're definitely good guys. Even though Zoro has a reputation for not being a good guy, he is still at his core a good guy who wants to live honorably. You know, and that drives a lot of how he functions. It's why he devotes himself so strongly to Luffy. He sees in Luffy someone who's willing to die for his friends. Like, Luffy will die for his friends, and he has that motivation behind him, and that drives Zoro even harder to want to be the strongest swordsman. That's the importance of that scene of him, you know, getting his ass kicked by Mihawk and nearly dying, you know, that when he starts to pledge that he would never lose again. You know, it's because he has that same sense of honor and justice that Luffy has, but he also sees in Luffy the desire to really put his life on the line for his friends. He wants to do the same, but he can't do it if he dies, right? So it's very important to get those character notes right, and missing it on Usopp is a huge bummer to me, especially since it does speak to the heart of what the Straw Hats are all about. Same thing to be said about Sanji, and this is all just a function of them not having enough time. Like it's not like, it's not like the same kind of criticism I would have for the live action Witcher, where it's like, oh well, the showrunners just don't like One Piece and they wanted to do their own thing, etc., etc. No, that's not it at all. It's purely a function of the fact that they have like 200 tons of story that they needed to put in a 50-pound bag, so stuff was gonna get cut. But I wish they could have found some way to get some of that core stuff in there. Sanji, same thing. Like, not really any good reason for them to ask Sanji to become a Straw Hat, but in the show, again, in the anime, he shows it. Like, he shows his own devotion. He's willing to die to protect the restaurant, and specifically to protect, his surrogate father. And that pisses Luffy off in the show. It pisses him off. He's like, what sense does dying make, to protect someone you love? Like, no, you don't do that. He was mad at Sanji for even positing the notion. And it was a great scene. Like, it took a lot to get Sanji to leave the restaurant and join the Straw Hats. It wasn't like some small thing. Like, he refused numerous times, and it took his surrogate father, Zeph, berating him and forcing him to leave, after he nearly got killed by that one pirate with the bell hands or whatever. So it was like a huge character moment that really shows you what Sanji's all about, at least in that particular instance. He's just like the others. He's willing to put his life on the line to protect, things close to him. And that's why Luffy likes him. That's why he wanted him to join. He's like, you're my kind of guy. Get on board my pirate ship. But again, you don't get that in the show because, episode restrictions. That sort of thing is a real big bummer to me, and that just contributed to making the season feel like it was like a high school abridged version of One Piece. The other negative, specifically, was, and again, the actor's fine. I like the actor. I don't want to replace him or anything. I think that he's perfect for the role in a lot of ways, but the way that they wrote Zoro, it was not Zoro-like at all. He was way too serious. He was way too cool and callous, and that's not Zoro. Zoro is the pre-time skip Zoro is a goofball. Like, he's just as manic and goofy and silly as Luffy and Sanji and Usopp, and he laughs a lot. He laughs a lot. Whenever Luffy says something dumb, Zoro is the first one laughing at the top of his lungs at Luffy. He likes it. He eggs Luffy on to do dumb shit for the most part, so long as it doesn't result in Luffy doing something that hurts Zoro, in which case he gets pissed off and he's the first one to like threaten to kill Luffy. Like, it's a real back and forth in that respects. But he has such a deeper character beyond just being broody and like sullen. Like, he sleeps a lot, sure, but when he's awake, he's goofy, and I want to see that side of his character. And they totally did a misread on what Zoro is as a character in the show. I feel like they were trying to do a post-time skip Zoro, where in post-time skip Zoro is more serious. He's less, I guess, campy. And, there are some story reasons as to why that is the case, but, you got to build your way up there. You got to get there, the right way. Don't just start off, because then you don't get all the fun. And I hope they correct it in the second season, but you don't get all the fun Zoro moments. Zoro has a lot of fun moments that aren't just him being, super cool, Bishonen with swords, killing people. Like, that's just a part of what makes Zoro fun. The other part is the fact that he's wacky. And he's a goofball. He laughs at Luffy being dumb, or he gets easily annoyed by, people that are tagging along that he doesn't want to be around and shit like that. He's a party animal. He likes to get drunk, and just as much as any of the other pirates outside of Luffy. So, show that part. They kind of allude to the fact that he likes to drink in the show, and they're like, he mentions sake every now and then, but yeah, he's a fucking booze bag, man. Show him getting shit-faced. Those are really only negative things I have to say about it, but other than that, like, I did enjoy the show a lot. And it was really well done. Certainly much better than Cowboy Bebop or Death Note, unfortunately. And way better than... if we're talking just straight adaptations, much better than The Witcher. Hey, Nocti! Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? How was your night treating you? Hello, hey Diego, welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? Oh man, alright, well, I wasn't planning on starting with the One Piece rundown, but I'm glad I did knock that out of the way. Drawing until my hand started cramping, so taking a break. Damn, that's some serious drawing. I miss those days. I miss those days of drawing until my hand cramped. So we have some updates. Some Unity updates. The shit that's been going on around Unity has been pretty out of control. This Unity... Oh, hey, what the heck? What are you doing, Dolby? Why are you sitting like that? Oh, well, you don't have... That was not... No. That wasn't an invite... Sorry, I didn't want to kick you out. You don't have to leave. She got embarrassed. I heard they are backtracking a little bit. I hadn't seen any of the backtracking. I mean, they're gonna have to. I mean, there's no way they can do what they plan to do, but I hadn't seen any of the backtracking just yet. I did see this. Credible death threats causes Unity to close 2 offices. CEO John Riccitiello said a scheduled town hall meeting was also canceled. A death threat made against 2 video game technology vendors, Unity's U.S. office... Did I read this weird? A death threat made against 2 of video game technology vendors Unity's US-based offices was deemed credible, prompting the company to take precautionary measures. As reported by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Unity CEO John Riccitiello said that a scheduled September 14th company town hall meeting has been canceled, while both in Austin, Texas and San Francisco, California offices will remain closed for the day. I didn't even know Unity had an office in Austin. This is due to, quote, a credible death threat that was made against the tech company, though the nature of this potential violence has yet been detailed. That's pretty wild. I understand being upset about their plan. I mean, I understand about being upset about their plan, but like, fucking chill out with the death threats, man, against a game engine producer. I understand it though, like, yo, Poxborn, thank you for the resub. 14 months. God damn. You're a soldier. You're a real one. You're a real one, buddy. I gotta get my subscriber rewards going. You sub for 14 months. You need some shit. I did. I interviewed with them when I first moved here. Oh, shit. Okay, I didn't know that. Also, the CEO sold his shares before they made the announcement. Yes, that's another thing. He did he did sell off a bunch of his shares before he made this announcement. So he was well aware of what that announcement was going to mean. And he did he did do some shady ass shit. I understand the level of vitriol for all of this, but man, just pump the brakes on the death threats here, people. All right, this isn't worth that sort of shit. Unity stuff, Yes, Unity stuff. I talked about the core update that they were doing a few days ago, and just going over a few of the other things here right now, the new updates. Which is some insider trading shit, yeah, but you know, the SEC doesn't give a shit about insider trading. So, I mean, not above a certain level. You can't do it. You can't do it, but John Riccatello and anyone above his station can. But now apparently they are saying they aren't charging the studios. They're going to charge the distributors. So Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Fucking good luck on that. Good luck on that. Like, Pokemon Go was built on the Unity engine. You think they're really going to get Nintendo to pay 20 cents per install of every Pokemon Go install out there? You think Nintendo's gonna fork over that money? I promise you Nintendo has much better lawyers than Unity does. Nintendo actually has nothing to do with Go. Well, they own the property. they own the property. I know that. What is the company name? Damn, I forget the company's name. Hello, it is me, and I got good news and bad news. The good news is that me and a friend finished recording footage for a new video yesterday. Awesome. The bad news is that all the footage was either corrupted or garbage and had to be thrown out, so we had to start from scratch again. Damn, that sucks, man. So you just have bad news. What's up, Toaster? Welcome back to the stream. I'm sorry about your corrupted video. Pokemon Company is only partially owned by Nintendo. Game Freak. I wonder, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're I wonder how it works then with partial ownership then, because I wonder how they, like, would they try to split it? Like, Nintendo pays 10 cents and the other company pays 10 cents? I don't know how that would work. I feel like they would go after the IP holder. Unity fucked up all their PR within the span of the time it took me to finish my shift. Lol. Nintendo has large shares, but gets almost nothing directly out of stuff for phone. Wait, so they don't have any piece of the mobile market for Pokemon? That doesn't sound right. Nintendo has the lawsuit game down so fucking thorough that even small content creators can't go under the radar. No, yeah, that's a part of what makes Nintendo really shitty. It's very often why you don't see a lot of people streaming Nintendo games. Like, sometimes they'll let you fly under the radar with that. You know, sometimes they'll let you do it. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll come after your ass. Video games can be DMCA too. It's just that most game companies don't do it. Nintendo being the more frequent exception. Nintendo gets the ownership of the stuff on Nintendo properties. The Pokemon Company handles other software and merch. Okay, well, so that under that agreement, then you're saying that Nintendo's hands are clean. Well, I mean, as for Pokemon Go, at least. I don't know if there are any Pokemon or what other Nintendo properties would have been developed on the Unity engine, like for Switch or anything like that. It'd be fascinating to know, but I guess maybe in the instance of mobile for Pokemon, their hands are clean. Because most game companies know it's free marketing. Yeah, it is. It's free marketing and it's great marketing. But Nintendo, they don't need that marketing. They're a printing press for money on their own right. So they feel like they have special clearance to be a little bit more heavy-handed on that sort of thing. They aren't paying us shit to play all these games. No, but then, like, at that same token, like, someone can watch me play like 80 hours of StarCraft and, you know, be like, well, I don't have to buy that. I just watch this dummy play it for 80 hours. And is that fair? Is that rational? Does that happen? Maybe. Probably. I mean, I'll tell you, there certainly have been streams where I've watched somebody play a game that I was interested in and be like, I don't think I'm going to get that anymore. So, it all depends. It's a double-edged sword, but generally speaking, it is positive. It's much more positive for game developers than it is negative. And the distributor would be Apple, Google. Well, I mean, okay, six of one, half a dozen the other. When you're talking about lawyering up against a corporation, you know, you're either going to go up against Nintendo lawyers as Unity, or you're going to go up against Apple and Google lawyers, you know, as Unity. Which firing squad would you prefer to stand in front of? It goes both ways. I've bought games because I've watched them. That too, you see, but that's what I'm saying. It's a double-edged sword. It can easily go both ways. But it's generally more beneficial, I feel, to game developers than it is a hindrance. I'd rather go after Nintendo. Google, Apple are a bit bigger. Well, they're much bigger. They're much bigger, and they lobby courts. They're much more used to lobbying the courts. Like, I don't know how much court lobbying Nintendo has in their history. I'm sure they have some, but not to the level that Google or Apple does. Oh yeah, the advertising is great. I think it is. I think it is. And I think I, in particular, am an excellent marketer for games. I mean, so long as I play them long enough. I guess in that instance, I'm also a pretty brutal judge for bad games. If I play a bad game, I only play it for like 5 minutes. That's not much of an ad. That's how Kena started making its rounds, because it went under the radar when it released, and now it's starting to get its name out there. I mean, so many games were like that, you know? I think one of the best recent examples is Among Us. I wonder how much money those dudes made. Alright, let's see. When reached for a comment via email, a Unity spokesperson confirmed that Kotaku the office closures will extend to at least Friday, September 15th. Today, we have been made aware of potential threat to some of our offices, the spokesperson said. We have taken immediate proactive measures to ensure the safety of our employees, which is our top priority. We are closing our offices today and tomorrow that could be potential targets for this threat, and are fully cooperating with law enforcement on the investigation. This comes amid a flurry of criticism lobbied at Unity for its rather controversial move to change how it charges game developers for making games with its Unity engine software. The new scheme, which will see certain developers paying Unity 20 cents every time end user installs or even sometimes reinstalls their game, didn't go over well in the online game making community. I've read a lot of threads from developers and friends of mine who I used to be in the game industry with that went over exactly some of the motivations behind it. It's an interesting thing because, like, in the past few years, Unity has been trying to they've been trying to compete more on Unreal's level, on the Unreal Engine level. And they've been trying to do that by expanding out beyond video games. So they acquired companies, and I think a part of why they have a hard time being at least revenue neutral is because they've recently acquired companies that have that they intend to use to branch out beyond video games. Companies that do AR tech for retailers and shit like that. Weird stuff. I'm not sure why they decided to invest that kind of money in it, but I think that one of the tweets from a developer showed their revenue and their costs of operating for like the past 4 years, and you know, if the numbers are to be believed, they've only really been in the positive as far as being, you know, net positive with their revenue for like the last year or so, which tracks with some of the articles that have come out saying as such. But it broke down where all their expenditures are going to, and yeah, it's just mostly R&D, which to me, it reminded me of It reminded me of Recore, that game back there I worked on at Armature. So the story behind that, from what I recall, Recore was a title that we worked on with the creator of Mega Man, and it was a Microsoft exclusive that was intended to be a AAA caliber game. The unique thing about that is that, and I don't know if this was ever written about in the media. I Googled earlier to see if anyone had ever reported it, but I didn't see anything. So I guess maybe you're getting a scoop. You're getting an exclusive here. At that time, which circa 2015, 2016, Microsoft had an interest in purchasing Unity. I think they wanted to buy Unity, or they were interested. They were testing the waters. They were using Recore. Recore was developed on Unity, and they were using Recore to see if the engine was capable of being used to develop a blockbuster AAA caliber game. Now, Armature, the company that I worked at, was founded by some of the key developers behind Metroid Prime, the Metroid Prime series on the Wii. These guys were no slouches. They were great game developers. They put out a lot of really awesome titles. Microsoft had every reason to believe that they had the ability to create a AAA caliber game. And they had a lot of talent at that studio to do it too. The development of Recore was a fucking nightmare, an absolute nightmare, for a variety of reasons. Some, nothing to do with the technology we were using, but a lot of it was because Unity was just not fit to do the kind of shit that we were trying to do with that game. And the end result was a game that came out that was pretty fucking busted. Like, I remember, and it's always interesting because you got jamokes like me who get up on Twitch and YouTube and shit, and we trash things like, I sit here and I'm trashing Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, oh, live action Cowboy Bebop sucks, and blah, 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 blah. And obviously, many talented people worked really hard to make Cowboy Bebop. They put their blood, sweat, and tears making sure that show, not only crossed the finish line in terms of production, but also that fans liked it. They didn't want it. They didn't want to put that out for no reason. They wanted to make sure that the fans of the show liked it. So when you devote so much of your time to a creative endeavor like that, so much of your passion and energy, then you release it and people shit all over it, yeah, it's gotta feel a certain way to you, And I'm not ignorant of that. I try to be as respectful as I can to the people that work on these things, even if I share a negative opinion on it. Hopefully I do come across as respectful to their process and their work, even if I have a negative criticism. But a part of the reason why I try to remain aware of that is because I've been on the opposite side. When we went through absolute devastation trying to get that game to work on Unity, and then, when we drop it, we get greeted with this.
The following trailer is rated S for spoilers. From the creators of the hottest mess of 2016 comes another promising but ultimately disappointing action game about good and bad robots fighting each other, as Keiji Inafune continues to play out his weird robot fetish in public. Recore. On a distant planet in the far future that's basically the desert from Mad Max, but with robots, one surviving human will rise to challenge her AI overlords and terraform the planet, and nothing will stop.
Because it released alongside Deathloop and Diablo 2 Resurrected. Oh, I forgot about Deathloop. I have that game. I think I played it for like 6 minutes. But unfortunately, we live in a day and age of the internet, and everyone has an opinion, and just as everyone has an asshole, yeah, that old adage, and it's a true one. It's a true one. But, if you have, I for one, share your opinion. I'm for that. That's fine. And if it's a shitty opinion, trash it too. If you're going to trash someone's work, feel free to trash someone's shitty opinion. Lord knows I've had my
But
opinions trashed.
Except frustrating design, nightmarish load times, and an assload of bugs.
So that's the thing right there. Like the breadth and scope of the game that we were trying to build on an engine that just was not ready for it resulted in a shit ton of fucking issues every time we built the game. And the engine was not, however it was not optimized to build really big games. So it would take hours to create a build of the game. And then once we have a build of the game and it's like, all right, let's see what this looks like. And it looks like this, then it's like, well, shit, we just spent like 7 hours building this game. And now we've got all of these fresh new bugs to fix. We're going to spend however many days it takes to fix these bugs and then sit for 7 more hours just to see what new crop of bugs pop up. You know, and you're playing whack-a-mole with these issues that you just can't seem to completely nail down, while at the same time, you're still building out new features. Like, this game was supposed to have a ton of really awesome features, a lot of which just didn't materialize because we couldn't find a way to make it work right, and we just didn't have the time because we did have to devote a lot of time to, you know, stability and optimization and general bug fixes. And a lot of that was the result of using Unity instead of using an engine that, you know, was configured to deal with this sort of thing on a bigger scale, like Unreal. But we couldn't do that. I remember having conversations like, how hard would it be to port this thing to, I think that's actually what the conversation that exposed the Microsoft interest in Unity. So I was talking to like one of the executive producers and one of the studio founders. I was like, how hard would it be just to port this damn thing to Unreal? And that's when they were like, well, we have to build in Unity. Microsoft wants to use it as like a test subject for if the Unity engine can be capable of building a AAA caliber game. And I was like, well, that sucks then, because we're stuck with this now. We're going to be dealing with this until, you know, the end of its release, which another part of the problem is Microsoft had a super aggressive release schedule that did not leave any room for error. And as this video denotes, there was a lot of error.
Challenge the wasteland as Jewel, a brilliant mechanic, marksman, and Sandworld Sleeping Beauty. Reawakened after almost a century to find her entire colony murdered by revolting robots, which she takes pretty well considering almost all the humans are dead.
Up and away!
Then join up with her only companions. Artificial
I like the
intelligences
companions.
and colorful spheres with Dubro names.
The game did have
that
some
you'll
fun
stuff into
mechanics.
adorable robot shells and press into battle like giant metal Pokemon. All in the name of collecting different spheres that you'll use to power the colony or something. In a storyline so barely present, you'll forget why you're doing anything at all and just give in to your animal urge to collect all the shiny things. Ooh, it kind of looks like shit. Blast your way through the desert using Jewel's cartoonish agility, rocket boots, and helpful robot pals as you traverse the landscape of Far Eden, a barren plain dotted with buildings and floating platforms, with no other practical purpose than just being jumping puzzles. And take on legions of scary metal monstrosities by shooting them the same color they're glowing, then playing a fishing minigame to rip out their robo-hearts, use their life energy to strengthen your minions, and their parts to build new robot shells, in a gameplay loop that seems pretty engaging, until you realize the stats are meaningless and the combat stays the same the whole way through.
Pretty much.
But really though, look at how adorable Mac is. It was so worth that robot getting that, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Prepare yourself for Recore to take you on an emotional roller coaster as you fall in love with the game's snappy platforming, expansive overworld filled with collectibles, and tightly focused Zelda-ass dungeons. Then, just when it feels like the game's ramping up, run straight into the Prism Core gates, Mario 64 star doors that will make you scour the previous areas for cores to unlock new levels in the final dungeon. And you're forced to go through all the random unconnected dungeons to grind out more shiny shit, until you finally reach the top of the tower and defeat the boss. Then get treated to a 30-second cutscene, a tease for a sequel, and get dumped back to the title screen. And an ending that's the closest a video game can come to actually giving you blue balls. So strap on your rocket boots and get ready to reel in those balls. And if you're expecting a modern Metroid or Mega Man successor, you might want to keep on waiting. Because ReCore feels a lot less like that, and more like a weird offshoot of Mega Man Legends, which we're never going to get a real sequel to, are we? Starring, tapping your finger, staring at the wall, taking a piss.
The loading screens were brutal in this game. Loading was brutal. We could never get that optimized right, but like that's just another fault of, the engine we were using.
Making a sandwich, playing other video games, deep existential pondering, doing your taxes, and anything else that keeps you awake while you wait for this game to load. Remorse. Wait, hold on a second. You're telling me there are audio clips in this game entirely in gibberish? What is the point of that? Are they just trying to piss me off? Be sure to subscribe for more honest game trailers.
Oh boy, that gave me some memories. Maybe I'll play ReCore one day, just for the nostalgia of it. Okay, fuck you, dude. I like jumping puzzles, lol. You'll like ReCore then, because that game is loaded with jumping puzzles. Oh man, ReCore. What a tough experience. But apparently, I think that, we were developing that in 2015, 2016. I think that the Unity engine actually has made some pretty good improvements as far as what it can do visually. I don't know about how easy it is to develop AAA games on now compared to what it was then, but I was watching some of these videos earlier of the best looking Unity games, and some of these games I had heard of, like Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov. I didn't realize that was built in Unity, but I've heard of this one before, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not giving some of the best on the Unreal Engine a run for its money, but it looks a hell of a lot better than ReCore did. So I don't know. Maybe the engine is in a better shape now than it was, 5 years ago or so. I don't know if that gives it more value as far as maybe finding a potential buyer for the company, which seems like they're going to be on the track to do, once they're forced to go back on this whole, we're going to charge you for every install plan. I don't know who'd buy them, but, maybe Microsoft will flare up interest again. Although I guess they don't really need to, because now they have Bethesda. They didn't have Bethesda back then. I don't recall. Bethesda has their own pretty expansive game engine. That's the incredible part about what game is this? Made of Scare? Is that Scarecrow from Batman? I've never heard of this game. It looks creepy. Oh shit. He fell and got a spike in the hand. It's literally Scarecrow from Batman. I willingly spent 6 hours on the Final Fantasy XIV Kugane jump puzzle. Damn, you really like platform games then. I was looking at that Pumpkin Jack game too, and I was this close to getting it, but I have to be in a real particular mood to play a platformer. I haven't played a platformer in God, I don't know how long it's been. I haven't played a platformer in years. I have to be in a really special mood to play a platformer. Which is funny because when I was a kid, I used to only play platformers, and I would never play role-playing games because I didn't like reading. Now I'm the opposite, so I don't know when that switch happened. I now want a true sequel to Mega Man Legends. I could have sworn that they have since announced something like that in the works. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought they had. Well, I mean, I guess there was a Mega Man Legends 2. I'm guessing everyone's waiting for Mega Man Legends 3. Yeah, I guess maybe I was mistaken. But I've never played the first Mega Man Legends, so I think I just don't know what I'm missing out on. Okay, now this looks like a Unity game. This looks more in line like what I would consider seeing what I would consider a Unity game would look like. The worst loading screens I experienced in a game was Anthem. Oh man, all of the hits. Okay, but in my defense, I did not work on Anthem. I played Anthem a little bit while I was there, just a little bit, I think. No, I didn't actually. No. I was in an all hands when we internally revealed Anthem to the rest of the studio, but I left BioWare before Anthem really flared up. So I had nothing to do with that one. That ain't on me. I love Maid of Skier. Okay, so that makes sense that you would know of that game. And it's based off a folktale. Okay, maybe I'll try it one day. I mean, it looks neat. I wanted Anthem to succeed so bad. So did I, but I know why it didn't. I know why it didn't succeed. And it's part and partial for how those studios were run. It was a real bummer, too. I mean, man, it was when I first got hired at BioWare, it was such like it was a cool thing. It was like prestige. I had eaten so much shit in the game industry at all these shitty companies making all these shitty games that once I got hired at BioWare, it felt to me like, all right, it was worth it. I had amassed enough experience and I had proven my worth enough to work at one of the most premier studios in the world and developer of many great games, etc., etc. And it was cool for certain, but I also had a front row view of how BioWare being integrated into the larger EA structure completely drained the life and the uniqueness and the personality out of the BioWare brand. And it was sad to see. It was real sad to see. And by the time I left, it was already it was a demoralized place, to say the least. And then in keeping in contact with people that were still there, it only got worse. So it was a bummer. I wanted Anthem to be better too. It's a bummer. And I still want Dragon Age, the next Dragon Age, to do really well. I liked Dragon Age Inquisition when it came out. I've since gone back and tried to replay it, and I'm like, man, this game is actually pretty rough. Like I don't think it's as good as I thought it was. And I think a part of that also is I played The Witcher 3 after Dragon Age Inquisition, and The Witcher 3 just completely raised the bar to an entirely new standard for like role-playing games, open world role-playing games. And Dragon Age Inquisition was just not cutting it. I really hoped they were going to No Man's Sky it. Everybody the funny thing is everybody wants No Man's Sky to be something that it's not. So any game that's like tangentially kind of related visually or thematically to No Man's Sky gets unfairly criticized for not being what people want No Man's Sky to be. Like that's a lot of the consternation and anger towards Starfield, which I feel is dying down. I think a lot of that's dying down around Starfield, and a lot of people are starting to recognize it as a good game, which, they should. But it had to go through that whole, this isn't the No Man's Sky that I wanted it to be. And, that kind of sucks. I mean, it's both a glowing endorsement of No Man's Sky, while at the same time also being a stinging indictment of No Man's Sky. Which I played it. I like it, I like it, but yeah, I agree. No Man's Sky is a dead world. It has all these cool ideas and features, and flying from planet to planet is awesome. But once you get to that planet, there's nothing to do. It's a dead world with like no personality, no narrative, no real semblance of like character building. So, you want that stuff to be in there. I was so sick of Destiny and being fucked over by the Destiny season passes and the amount of money they wanted us to sink into it, and I really wanted Anthem to replace it because we all expected Anthem to be everything Destiny wasn't. And in concept it was, but the game was broken as fuck. Yeah, I think that may have been. There's a few reasons why that was the case. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And that sucks. I mean, when they first revealed the game to us, like the concept of it sounded awesome, you know. And even when if you just watch some videos from like the trailers and stuff, looks like it could be really cool. But yeah, the execution just wasn't there. No, that's not what we mean when we say that. We mean completely revamp and make the broken game what it was initially promised. No, that's exactly what it like. What No Man's Sky is now is very different from the game that it was when it launched. Like they did do a lot of things to revamp the game, but I think the promise of No Man's Sky, I, like I don't know, and I can't quite recall what the marketing around it was. I don't know if the promise was something that was ever going to be delivered. I'd have to go back and see. But as far as like this expansive universe where you can travel from planet to planet with other people, or you're exploring a universe with other players, and all of that sort of stuff, like that's what I remember. That's what I remember the promise of No Man's Sky being, is like I thought it was going to be more of a multiplayer experience. Um, and I guess maybe a little bit more of a narrative kind of driven thing rather than just strictly exploration. Um, and a lot of what I see from people who are upset about No Man's Sky revolves around that sort of thing. Like I never played Destiny. I don't know what Destiny is like. Um, I don't know if there was any. I don't know if there was any expectation that No Man's Sky was going to be like that kind of a game or not. I just remember it being pitched as you can get in your ship and fly to all these different planets and land on the planet and discover things, and you're going to be competing with all these other players that are also going to be traveling around the galaxy, and you're all trying to get to the center of the galaxy or the center of the universe or something like that. And that's what I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. And I guess it's a little bit closer to that now, but at this point, 6 or 7 years after the fact, I just kind of feel like people that are upset with No Man's Sky should have long since gotten over it. Like, but a part of why people keep, part of why the consternation is still there, why people can't get over it, is because the game is still kind of cool. Like it's cool to jump in your spaceship and fly from one planet to another, and your spaceship gets broken and you have to repair it, and all that other weird shit like space fighting. I guess to an extent they added space ports and all of that. I mean, it has a really cool vibe. It has a really cool 70s kind of sci-fi spacefaring adventure sort of vibe, and that keeps the interest alive just enough to keep people pissed off about what it's not. They revamped Final Fantasy XIV, ESO, No Man's Sky, and all initially failed miserably and were given a second chance. We wanted that for Anthem. Everyone was begging for it, and they just were like, lol, nah, bruh. It failed. Time for the next unfinished title. Yeah, that's EA for you. They invested a huge chunk of money. Gotta head out. Bye, everyone. Hey, thanks, Bianca. Thanks for stopping by. Have yourself a good night, and hope to see you again tomorrow. They invested a shit ton of money on Anthem. Like, that game was in development for a long, long time. So, and honestly, at the time, they invested a bunch of money in a lot of BioWare properties that didn't quite pan out. I can't remember. Let me look this up. I can't remember the release. Let's see. Yeah, Andromeda was before Anthem. That was also a problem. Like, Shadow Realms. It's so sad that none of y'all will be able to experience how cool this actually was. I worked on this game for a while, and when they canceled that, that was the first big demoralizing heartbreak for BioWare, for my experience there at least. But yeah, like they had sunk money, not a lot. They had sunk some money into Shadow Realms before they canceled it, but the whole point of that was that it wasn't going to be a big blockbuster thing. They should have let that one ride out because it was really cool. But yeah, they had sunk a ton of money into Mass Effect Andromeda, and that was a shit show. You know, they had sunk a bunch of money into Star Wars: The Old Republic. That was the title I primarily worked on, and it's still around. They saved it. We had to, and our saving it was we launched as a conventional $14 a month or whatever MMO, and we had a big pop at first, but then the interest in it died down immediately. So, in a desperate effort to save the game, we converted it to a free-to-play game with, you know, microtransactions and all that shit. And it worked. It saved it, but it never got the stink of that initial failure off of it. Like, they wanted it to be something way more. They wanted that $14 a month every month. And I guess, you know, they wanted the microtransactions too, but ideally they would have a best of both worlds sort of situation. And the kind of negative perception that came off of, okay, this game launched, people are not liking it anymore. They're almost immediately, you know, fleeing the game for whatever reason, and now we have to do this desperate development maneuver to save it. Considering how much money they put into this game, and this game is one of the most expensive games ever made, not a good look. So they sunk a ton into Star Wars, and they had to do an emergency, you know, resuscitation to keep it alive. They sunk a ton of money into fucking Mass Effect's Andromeda, and, you know, similarly, it did not do well. There was no resuscitation on that one though. And they sunk a ton of money into Anthem. So when Anthem drops and, you know, doesn't, you know, flames out almost immediately, they're not gonna do a revamp. You're just asking them to do, you know, to invest a ton more money on yet another BioWare property that underdelivered rather, and it sucks. But I can't fault them for not doing that. You know, given the history of the other titles, I can't fault them for not wanting to pull the trigger on investing money in that revamp. They probably should have, honestly, but, you know, the money men make those decisions at a huge company like EA. Andromeda was broken as fuck too, lol, but it was hilarious. Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. That was the Frostbite engine. Back when they wanted all studios to develop their games on the Frostbite engine. I guess because maybe they had designs on Frostbite being competitive to Unreal Engine and Crytek and shit like that, but I don't think that worked out in their favor very well. But Andromeda is so much fun to play now. Jaw is the best romance option. I mean, I haven't played Andromeda, so if they did manage to revamp enough of Andromeda to make it not a shit show, then that's all the more reason why I guess they should put more thought into doing the same for Anthem. But I think they've already kind of put this one behind them. Did they stop services on this one? Although BioWare announced in February 2020 that they would be reinventing the core gameplay of Anthem as part of a long-term plan, all future development was ceased in February 2021. Oy, what a bummer. Dragon Age Dreadwolf. This has been in development for a while. 2015. This game's been in development for 2015, since 2015. 8 years. Almost 9. This game has been in development for almost 9 years. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. It was intended to be a smaller, more narrative-focused game set in the... Yeah, well, that's the problem. They wanted it to be a smaller game. It's the same reason why they canceled... I mean, they were never going to cancel this because, you know, Dragon Age is a tentpole franchise, but we wanted Shadow Realms to be a smaller game because we were burnt. We've been burnt too many times before on, you know, investing tons of money into building out a big AAA blockbuster game only to like fire half the studio after its release. That's demoralizing. Nobody wants to do that. Problems with development of BioWare's other games, Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, led to repeated interruptions as Joplin staff was shifted to these games. That's right. I remember talking to some people at BioWare about people from the Dragon Age team being moved over to the Anthem team. So I guess it hasn't been strictly in development since 2015. Development of the game was restarted under codename Morrison in 2018, this time with a live service component and based on Anthem's code. Oh no. According to Bloomberg News, after the success of single-player game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and the decision to cancel the reworking of the massively multiplayer online Anthem in February 2021 following its lackluster launch, EA and BioWare decided to remove the planned multiplayer component from Morrison and develop it as a single-player game only. That's so funny. Like, so many years I spent in the game industry, it was the opposite. Like, nobody wanted to make a single-player game. Everybody only wanted to make multiplayer games, and it was so frustrating to me because I don't really play multiplayer games. I don't care to play multiplayer games, but every game I've worked on just about has been a multiplayer one because that's the only kind of game that they wanted to do back then, that any studio wanted to develop. So it's so funny to see that like the attitude has shifted the opposite. Like, you know, well, the single player games are the ones that are popping, so let's cancel the MMO and, you know, turn this planned pseudo MMO into a single player game. The project has been marked for high turnover by a high turnover of leading staff. That is true. I don't know what this game is going to end up looking like. I will say that Dragon Age Inquisition ended on a really cool cliffhanger, so I really want to play this just to get some resolution to that, but I mean, there's no telling if this is actually going to be worth playing or not by the time it drops. Cyberpunk 2077 was in development for 9 years. Yeah, that was also a fucking insanely long development cycle. Considering what it looked like when it dropped, pretty fucking crazy. Although it looks and plays great now, and I'm really looking forward to the new expansion. But for a game that was in development for as long as it was, man, it really came out looking like shit. Actually longer, because it was 9 years after the release of the first trailer of The Girl in the Rain with the mantis blades that they released the game. I don't even remember that. I legit do not remember. I'm going to switch over to Starfield now. I legit do not remember that trailer. What are you doing, computer? Why are you doing this? You know what I want to do. There we go. Dreadwolf is gonna flop. Really? You think so? Why do you think it's gonna flop? Dragon Age is still a pretty popular game. Like, I don't think... I think, you know, if they release some cool looking trailers and stuff, I think the interest in it could be pretty good. The game released 11 years after it was announced. That's crazy. I wasn't really paying attention to CD Projekt Red games back then because I didn't have a PC or a next-gen console or current-gen console then to play any of their games. So I guess I wasn't really as dialed in back then. That's such a long time. 11 years. I feel sorry for those dudes. Having to work on the same damn game for 11 years. Alright. I did a lot of shit playing this game off stream. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. What am I doing? No, I didn't want to take a screenshot. Oh, I'm a I'm a Fed now. I'm a undercover agent in the Crimson Fleet. So I guess I'm doing that now. They did it because... Oh, shit. The fuck? Who are you?
Like Adler finally did something right for once.
Who the fuck are you? They did it because they refused to make all the team crunch, and according to most of the dev team, it wasn't an issue until the community got involved and bitched about pushbacks, forcing the studio into crunch. Oh man, that's unfortunate then, because the only thing that game is really known for as far as its development life cycle is the insane crunch.
So, big shot. I hear Adler thinks you're good enough to join our crew.
That's what I'm here for. Damn right I am. Adler said that? I didn't know he cared. Or didn't I already prove myself? I'll be snarky.
You're funny. I hate funny. Remember that.
I hate funny.
So, before I put you to work, let's get everything out in the open. I don't know if Adler mentioned it, and for his sake, I hope he hasn't. But you aren't about to sign up with any average pirate crew. You're signing up with the Crimson Fleet. That's if you get through this little task I have planned for you. There's a medical supply ship called the Ragana, jumping into Enceladus's orbit. On board that ship, you'll find a traitor named Austin Rake. I want him.
God damn, everybody wants me to be a hitman in this game. Consider it done. Let me think about it. What option do I have to do this job? Why not hunt down Austin Rake yourself? A medical supply ship? Why not ship with some actual loot?
There's a lesson in this. I need you to learn what'll happen if you decide to turn your back on the fleet. Consider it your glimpse into a possible, unfortunate future. So you'd better pay close attention.
Well, you know, the UC Navy said do whatever I need to do, so...
This job isn't about the loot, but I suppose every dog needs its scraps. Keep whatever worthless junk is on that ship. Just remember, the only thing that matters is that Rake dies.
Alright, consider it
It's
done.
done when Rake stops breathing. Head back here when you're finished. And don't keep me waiting for long.
Why do you want Austin Rake dead? How come we're certain Austin Rake is on Ragana? Why do you want him dead?
Rake used to run with the fleet. Hell, I'm the one who vouched for him in the first place. Back then he had a different name and a different identity. He was a damn good earner too. Brought in a ton of credits. Everything was fine until he wanted out. So he ran. And nobody,
Jesus, why is she talking with such fucking pauses? Nobody talks like that. Because the dev team was that passionate about that project. It was what was pushing the limits of their capabilities, and they wanted it to be so much more than it was. But the community kept pissing and moaning about, you've always done three pushbacks, and it's been 8 years since the first trailer. Yeah, that's why you should never drop a trailer until like you are seconds away from releasing the game.
Not gonna lie. He changes his location and identity so often it's costing me a small
It's kind of like a Hi-Fi Rush.
But you know what?
Nobody knew shit about Hi-Fi Rush until all of a sudden it was out. and then it popped off. It popped off for a while because people were surprised by it, and like it had immediate word of mouth because it was an unexpected new thing. And like, in my view, that's how it should be done. Like, I don't like the whole, we're gonna release a trailer like 4 years before the game is developed. I don't like that with movies either. Like, I don't want to see a trailer for a movie if the movie isn't gonna be in theaters within the next month. Oh, this is the guy, huh? Find a way to spare Austin Rake or convince Regana. Then boy, do I have some bad news for you. You have a crewman on board I'm looking for.
And what are your intentions with this crewman?
Gonna fucking murder him. UC Defsis. The fleet wants Austin Rake dead. I'd like to board your ship and talk about how to spare him. Crimson Fleet. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna open your hatch and I'm going to board. I have only one demand. Kill Austin Rake. Do that and I'll let you go. I'm aboard.
Damn it. I do not have choice, do I?
No, you do not.
Docking bay is open. Let's talk.
Alright, murder is on the menu, boys. I wonder if this quest line is gonna make all my people turn against me. They're all very noble and honorable people. I'm still waiting on Bloodborne 2. Well, I mean, if it's any consolation, Lies of P is going to be releasing soon, so there is that. And it'll tide you over until Bloodborne 2.
Next?
Are you sure you want to be here for this? I don't know. I don't know if you have the constitution to do what I'm about to do.
I am not sure what to make of you being here. If you wanted to kill us, you could have done that from your ship.
Well, I want to loot you too, though. That's the thing.
It. I guess I should just stop talking and let you say your piece.
I don't know who's listening over comms is safer. I wanted to make sure there wasn't any real loot on board. Just tell me which one of you is Austin Rake. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to die, and I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to end up like this anyways, but, let's go with that one.
That is not something I am going to do. Not until you reveal your intentions.
Oh, well, you know what?
As far as you are concerned, I am Austin Rake. You want him? You're going to have to kill me. Now, do you mind telling us what this is all about?
Austin Rake's a wanted criminal like me. Either you kill him or I kill you all.
Damn it.
Is that all it takes for you to flip on me, Dimitri? Unbelievable.
It is either you or all of us, Austin. I'm sorry.
Cut the crap and just admit it. You're a coward. You know, I almost bought it. All that crap about helping people and making a difference.
Why is this guy staring at me like that?
At the end of the day,
it's creeping me out.
Different from the fleet. When push comes to shove, you only care about yourself.
It's absolutely freezing here. I do not recommend extended exposure without our suits.
Yeah, I'm looting this stuff too. You got a problem with that, anyone? Alright. You guys got off easy. What is she doing? I was ready and willing to wipe all of you.
Was Austin really a member of the fleet?
Well,
But
yeah.
He seemed so normal.
What an awful situation. I don't know if I even blame Rake after what the captain said.
He is dead. I do not know if I did the right thing.
Liza P isn't going to equal out. No, but I played the demo and, you know, I thought it was kind of fun, which says a lot because I don't like those kinds of games, but you know, it's not bad. It was actually pretty enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, it looks good, but no, as much as I love Souls-like games, nothing actually beats a Soulsborne game. Oh, well, you know, that's the difference. I hate Souls-like games, and I found Lies of P to be fairly enjoyable, so maybe you wouldn't like it. Maybe you wouldn't like it as much. Why is he wearing a trash bag? It's space. It's the future. In the future, we're all going to be wearing trash bags. He was a pirate and a traitor. We're all better off without him.
He was also one of my crew. So no, I do not know if anything you said is true. You can leave now. I think you will understand when I say, I hope I never see you again.
Hey, don't be mad at me, buddy. You didn't have to go with me. You could have all drawn on me. You could have all drawn on me. I love games that humble me. That's kind of a funny way of putting it.
Hey, what's up?
I don't think I ever just... I don't like difficult games are fine, but like I don't like games that just solely predicate themselves on difficulty. And I don't like the controls for a lot of those games. Like, they're all floaty and really delayed, and I don't really get into that very well. It was like that way in Lies of P too, but Lies of P also felt a little bit faster, I guess. It was a little bit quicker. Oh boy, alright. Slow down, alright, let's focus on this guy right here. Got him. Oh shit, my hull is going down. Oh, I'm about to die. Who was teeing off on me? Jesus, that fucking woman didn't do anything to cover my back while I was blasting out of the ship. She has the audacity to be like, you want to help me? Fucking you help me.
Damn mercs just don't know how to take a hit. Hey, Rook, wanna help me with some target practice?
Damn. Like, they just fucking immediately zeroed it. Oh, wait, what? Do I not have anything? Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. How do I not have anything to repair my ship? I don't know. Wait, did I didn't toss that out of my inventory, did I?
Damn mercs just don't know how to take a hit. Hey, Rook, wanna help me with some target practice?
No. Because I don't have any ship parts. Get out of the way, get out of the way. God damn. What the fuck? Alright, without my ability to repair the hull, this is gonna be borderline impossible. I don't know where I had ship parts though. Where did they all go?
Damn mercs just don't know how to take a hit. Hey, Rook, wanna help me with some
No, hold on a second. See, Soulsborne games aren't hard, though. The games are all timing and strategy. I mean, they're barely that, honestly. It's really just level grinding. Once you figure out about the whole... Like, I remember when I first played Dark Souls, it was during a freeze in Texas, and we didn't go to work because all the roads freeze. you're new to Texas, so when we get those freezes, what happens is the entire city, like, it'll barely be any snow, it'll just be like ice on the roads, but the city doesn't fuck around. Everyone's just like, all right, stay home. So nobody goes to school, nobody goes to work. And we had a freeze many years ago, and I was at home from work, and a roommate of mine had Dark Souls, and I was like, you know what? Everyone's going batshit crazy over this game. Let me give it a shot and see what it's all about. So I started playing it then, and like I just kind of zoned out at a certain point. Like I just kind of like depersonalized while I was playing it. And there was a certain point in the game where I was at like a campsite, and I would walk from the campsite and kill all the enemies leading up to the boss area. But before I triggered the boss fight, I would go back to the campsite and it would reset all the enemies and I would heal up. And then I would go back through and kill all the enemies up until the boss fight. And then I would go back to the campsite. And I just got stuck in this loop of doing that for like maybe an hour and a half, just like vegged out. And then at some point I came to and was like, oh, I guess I'll just fight the boss now. And like I destroyed him. Not because I was like some masterful gamer that knew all the timing and tricks. I just leveled up to the point where like I could just obliterate him. And then after that, every enemy I encountered since was just like toilet paper to me. And I was like, oh, that's what this game is all about. It's not so much that it's, you know, hard. You just have to level grind a bit to, you know, make it normal. And when I played Elden Ring, it was the same thing. Like, at first I had a bitch of a time. It's a little bit trickier because it's open world, so you have to know which areas you can go to and which ones you can't. But once I realized that, can I jump out of here? I need to get some ship parts. What system am I in? Oh, I'm in Seoul. Oh, I'm just gonna go to Sidonia then. I'm two in it already.
Target practice.
I'm not going to be able to do anything without ship parts. I wonder if I have a... did I accidentally sell my ship parts? Is that what happened? They're a learning curve. They are a learning curve. Like, there is strategy and stuff involved with, you know, learning when to block and dodge and all of that. But, you know, ultimately it's still... Oh, geez, I'm doing this again. Ultimately, it still just boils down to
make of you being here.
Level grinding.
If you wanted to kill us, you could have done that. If you wanted our cargo, we could have jettisoned it. I guess I should just stop talking and let...
Last time I just... You know what? I'm just gonna fucking go. Gotcha, bitch! How am I missing this guy? How am I missing him at like point blank range? What's going on?
Bad luck for you! This one's down. You've got nothing. Have you taken leave of your senses? Rake was your target. I didn't sign on to this voyage to take part in mass murder.
Well, you're in it now, so there's no turning back. Well, that's a bummer. Oh well. Got what I needed. Because you could beat the games without leveling at all. I've seen, like, you know, man, I have seen some people do some really fucking weird shit in that game. One of the dudes I used to work with at BioWare way back in the day, like, he quit BioWare to become a full-time Twitch streamer. He popped off too. Like, he had a lot of he had a lot of followers and subscribers, and was always making headline and gaming news about weird shit he would do in Souls games, like beat it, you know, just with his bare fist and shit like that. Like, yeah, I mean, if you are patient enough, you can definitely do that. I mean, that goes for any game, though. If you're patient enough, you could speedrun Mario in like 2 minutes. I am the textbook definition of not patient. So that ain't me. I really don't have any fucking ship parts. Did I accidentally sell my ship parts? Alright, I gotta go to Sidonia then. What's up, Golden? I think I've had more fun with like games that were inspired by the Souls games more than the Souls games, ironically. Like, I liked Tunic. Wait, what is this red thing? Oh, is this the ship? Is it like a... Why is it showing as red? Oh, I guess I could blast it out of the sky if I want to. Well, that gives me some ship parts. Well, you get ship parts, but you killed him. I mean, he was on death's door anyways. I just hastened the journey for him. Like, the whole reason why I did it differently that time, why I just outright attacked the crew, was because I thought I would have the ability to explore the ship and maybe get some ship parts that way. But, nope. No such luck. No such luck. Have you...
Damn mercs just don't know how to take a hit.
Oh, God. This is where you were?
Some target practice.
God, they just ripped through my shields. Why do they just rip through my shield so quickly? Get there. You need those ship parts too, man.
Is that your best shot?
Don't let him get behind you, man. Come on, you had him on the ropes. What are you doing? There we go. Alright. Get those ship parts too. Oh, he didn't have any. Damn. Alright, well, I think I just got this last guy. Alright, locking. Alright. That worked out a little better. I don't think you had it under control.
Now tell me about the Ragana. Give me some good news.
I watched Tuna let him go and have him play dead. Well, I do things a little different around here. Austin Rake is dead, and the Regana's been destroyed.
Good work, Rook. Quick, clean, and no witnesses. Anyway, you wanted into the Crimson Fleet? Well, you're in. Yup, it's that simple. Hope this business with Rake's taught you something. Because I'm about to stick my neck out and vouch for you.
Damn, you don't learn your lesson at all.
And I wind up looking like an asshole? I'm gonna send someone after you.
Maybe somebody should send someone after you. You keep putting all these fucking feds in the Crimson Fleet. I don't respond well to threats.
Get used to it. Now that you know the deal, it's time to see what you signed up for. I'm gonna upload the coordinates for our headquarters in the Crick system. Spacers call it the key, the fleet calls it home.
Alright, let's see what's going on.
As soon as you can. Don't keep me waiting long.
I wish this game would show you, like, a character alignment. Oh, I have anti-grav powers. I keep forgetting that. I wish it showed you a character alignment based on, like, the decisions you made. Because I'm curious about what my guy is actually like. Like, he is both heroic and, like, a ruthless murderer at the same time. So, like, I don't really know what to make of him just yet. I guess, maybe you can say he has Gemini traits, which would be fitting. Killed 383 people, 81 creatures, 13 robots. I mean, it should say destroyed rather than killed, right? Robots don't have souls. That's right. I'm a budding anti-robot. In our robot future, I will be racist against the robots. Turrets killed, 31. Elite enemies killed, 40. Critical strikes, 30. I'm not a sneaky person at all. 9 sneak attacks. 383 people killed and only 9 sneak attacks. Boost packs exploded, 28. 0 G kills. I didn't even know that was a thing. 0. I didn't know that was a thing. Powers used 2. Scoped kills, 217. Max damage shot, 178. Melee kills, 42. I need to boost those numbers. Laser kills, 3. I hate laser weapons, but I probably need to boost those numbers. Ballistic kills, 395. Wait, okay, well, okay, they're counting the machines, too. Headshots, 660? That posits a scenario where I get a headshot on someone and they don't die. Which is kind of weird. I guess if they have a helmet. Explosive kills, 34. Starborn killed, 2. I thought I killed more than that. Ships destroyed, 33. Favorite weapon, Max Shot. I just started using this one, too. This gun's fucking awesome. Favorite power, anti-gravity field. It's the only one I have. Crime. Locks picked, 21. Pockets picked, 0. Items stolen, 221. Assaults, 4. Murders, 6. Trespasses, 0. Times arrested, 2. Most contraband carried, 3. Times caught with contraband, 2. Acts of piracy, 0. Lifetime bounty is 5,645. Largest bounty was 2,271. All things considered, my guy is pretty clean. I mean, as far as, like, space brigands are concerned, this could definitely look worse. What's happening? Where's it taking me? Whoa, ease up, ease up, ease up. Hell, hell.
Hail acknowledged. You're clear to dock at docking port 1. The commander will be waiting for you in operations.
I thought the Crimson Fleet were like ragtag pirates, man. They've got like a full fucking Imperial battle cruiser here. Oh no. Suki's in the litter box. Oh no.
UC SysDef certainly isn't taking the Crimson Fleet threat lightly.
Shut up! Stop talking about UC SysDef when we first step foot in the Crimson Fleet ship. What the fuck is the matter with you? I can't take you anywhere. Oh wait, this is UC Vigilance. Oh okay, never mind. Never mind. I thought this was the Crimson Fleet thing. I don't know why it's taking me here.
Once we get rid of all the pirates.
There you are. I want answers, and I want them right now. We intercepted your exchange with the Ragana. What the hell possessed you to kill those innocent people?
Hey, I had to get into the Crimson Fleet. Let's see.
Wrong. It's a huge price. I want to take down the fleet as badly as you do.
Well, then you infiltrate the fleet, motherfucker.
Unacceptable.
Commander Ikonde's right. When given a choice, you must always favor.
Now I have to waste precious time smoothing this over with Mast.
Well, that's your job. I've got mine.
My reports. Let me make this crystal clear. You do what you can to stay in the fleet, but it's not a license to kill. That is where we draw the line.
All right,
do
we'll
something
see.
like this again, and you're out. I'll hang the goddamn wanted posters myself. Understood?
I'm already wanted, dude.
The Crimson Fleet is motivated purely by material wealth.
That's not what that's not what this quest was about, buddy.
Getting what they want. I believe you're fully capable of avoiding the need to take a life. But if it jeopardizes the mission, we'll evaluate when the time comes. Hearing and comprehending are two. All this ugliness aside, then there is one positive to come out of this senseless tragedy. Let's focus on that and move forward with the mission.
Our intel on Saoirse was correct. After we received reports on your interaction with Adler Kemp, we picked up on your rendezvous with Neva Mora.
Our files indicate she's second in command, so getting on a good side will ensure you get into the Crimson Fleet.
Just pay me.
The woman has a record that could stretch across Seoul and back. She started young as one of Neon's street rats and worked her way up to second in command. She's a force to be reckoned with, so don't underestimate her.
Just pay me so I can get out of
You'll
here.
get paid once I consider your report complete.
And we expect your reports to be thorough. Where the Crimson Fleet is concerned, no detail is inconsequential.
So what's next for you on Neva's agenda?
I was told to meet Neva at the
Where
key.
you'll meet Delgado, no doubt.
Delgado is the leader of the Crimson Fleet. I have a profile here with some information on his background. You'll want to know the individual cadences of every member of the fleet, but Delgado's most of all.
Agreed. The last thing we need is to infiltrate the fleet, only to be kicked out because we've underestimated one of their people.
I don't disagree, but it's important to know your enemy and the best way to defeat them. In any case, now that you're with the fleet, you'll be operating independently. We will shadow you eventually, but we'll need to maintain our distance for now, especially while you're on the key. This will also give us time to bolster our defenses, should we need to engage with the fleet in the future.
Sir, on that note, shall we begin implementing the upgrade to our shields?
Immediately, Lieutenant. Notify the engineers and relay the information to the crew. I hope your entry into the fleet has overcome any doubts you may have had regarding your mission. It's certainly increased my estimates on success. Keep up the good work. We'll expect
Keep
further
up the good
reports.
work. You were just berating me earlier.
casualties already. This is not a good start. If these missions keep going sideways, I don't know how much longer the commander can vouch for you.
You don't worry about that. You let me worry about that.
Now what?
Yo! The cop lights are flaring. That must mean Haunted Taco is here. Yes indeed. What's up, Taco? Welcome back to the stream. How's your Friday night going? Fed. Oh, I'm much worse than a Fed now. Now I'm a narc. I've infiltrated the Crimson Fleet. I'm gonna bring them down from the inside. Pretty good, getting jacked and selling crack. I mean, getting back on track. Well, I mean, if you've got some crack to sell.
You got your cut. Now get out of my face. You said the take was 10K, but it was 30. Big difference on 40% of 10 versus 30. You wanted 4K, you got 4K. Not my problem. If you're stealing from me, you bet your ass it's your problem.
Ha 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 ha!
You kidding me?
Ah, and I looted him. And I immediately looted him. I was like, oh shit, mine, dibs.
Better off dead.
Sounds like you did the fleet a favor. Now toss this body out of an airlock before it turns into a damn air freshener. The hell took you so long? Forget how to grav jump or something?
What, you miss me?
It'd be one less sloppy rook whose mess I had to clean up.
You're a pirate now. Orza really has gone downhill.
Austin rate getting cold feet. You want to leave the fleet? You pay the price.
Oh, turn the beacons red. And now it's as red in here as it is on this ship. I feel very, immersed.
I don't care. Time is money and you've wasted both. That ends today. Clear? But, all that aside, you made it. So now, you get to hear a nifty history lesson. Pencils ready? Good. This floating scrap heap you're standing on is called the Keep. Used to be an old UC military star station, and now it's the fleet's base of operations. Might look a little.
You can actually bring them down? You mean the Crimson Fleet? I mean, I think that's the point of this whole mission. Looks like a good place for R&R. Place looks like a real dump.
Oh, well, I'll get right on that. A few plans, some throw pillows, and maybe this place will meet with your approval. Okay, sunshine?
While you're drawing up a list, some air freshener would be nice as well.
Anyway, I'll tell you all about the Keep, but it's better if I show you too. Follow me.
All right.
Yeah? Oh, actually, that she says that.
So, the key is in orbit around Suvorov. That's the very same ice ball where the United Colonies built a supermax prison they call the Lock. The UC is so clever. Supermax prison, lock, key. Cute, huh?
I got a mod that allows me to customize the inside of my ship like my houses. And it's great. I have so many plants and stuff on my ship. Oh, I need that mod. I wanted that ship, that dude that had like the fancy museum basically inside of his ship. I wanted that ship bad. I wanted to steal it. I did steal a ship. I have another ship in my fleet.
Now,
come on.
We've got everything the fleet needs right here.
I have the Star Eagle, I have the original Frontier, I have the Space Beatus, and then I stole the Ecliptic Stiletto, which I guess is just another type of Space Beatus. So my fleet is growing.
Of course, you've got to pay for it. Remember, on the key, credits are king.
And it's great. I have so many plants on the ship, and 2 chairs by the window in the captain's quarters.
Nav, before you get pissed, I've got my hands full.
Jasmine, sweetie, I'm trying to give a tour here. So you want to tell me why those damn doors are sealed?
It's called a malfunction. You know, that thing I spend most of my day dealing with. Believe me, my people are on it. Have a little faith for once.
And you always, Angel. This here's Jasmine. You need anything for your ship, she's got you covered. We'll hit up the depot next since these doors have given out on us. So anyway, we were talking about the Lock. About 100 years ago, the prisoners down there rioted and took over the place. After stealing some ships, they were actually able to make it up here and took over the key.
About time you brought us new blood, Neva. I was getting tired of trading with the same old faces.
You're just ticked everyone's getting wise to your ridiculous prices, Aludra. Anyway, welcome to the depot, Rook, where you'll be lucky if these blood-sucking leeches don't bleed you completely dry.
Whoa, whoa. It's not our fault that people don't appreciate how much it costs to get untraceable merchandise onto the key.
Neva's just whining because she thinks she lost
God, these people talk too much.
a shipment of gear. She should have done her homework.
Yeah, sure, laugh it up. I'll remember that next time I need something from you cheapskates. Let's move on. Back to my story.
Just shut up already.
Everyone always...
I like how she's still like...
Hey, if you want to pork... I carry most of the... Occasionally. Just don't screw me up.
What the fuck are you doing? Just let me... I can still hear her talking in the back. I don't give a shit about you or your trust issues. Let me see your inventory.
Anyone who says other... Well, most people... Take your pick.
Ooh, this is a new one. Yeah, it's called Customizable Ship Interiors. Great mod. I'll have to check that out once I get to the modding portion. I'm still committed to the vanilla playthrough. AA99, Assassin's Beowulf, 05 Maelstrom, Barrow Knife, Beowulf, Big Bang. This is a new one. Particle Beam Shotgun. I have a bunch of rounds for this thing. Holy shit, that's expensive. I have a bunch of rounds for this thing, though. I don't know. I don't really care for the laser guns that much. Oh, this is like a fucking Tommy gun. Pirate Legend. I found myself using a lot of the Laredo guns. I think that's where I think I probably use a lot of those myself too.
Done here? Fine by me.
All right, now you buy from me, you can look good. I'll only the best.
Oh shit. That has a lot of physical defense.
See ya.
Alright, now let me equip my new... Oh, this one's kind of dope too. Maybe I should have looked at that before I bought this one. I like this has the power boost though. I'm gonna go with that one. I'll just sell that other one.
Heading out. I'm sure I got something to suit your needs.
Damn it. I didn't realize I had this in my inventory too. I'm gonna switch to that bitch. How did I get that? Where did I get these Mark 1 shit from?
Stay safe out there.
That's actually a great spacesuit. With the exception of the helmet, I think I'm all marked 1 up. I wonder if I had a Mark 1 helmet that I just sold.
The right gear can be the difference between.
Guess not. That kind of suits Captain Frankie. I have so many revolvers. I've got a couple. I don't really use them. The mag shot's my weapon of choice. One in particular just absolutely devastates. In this Gmod server, there was a rebel attack and I got so much meat during it. The whole time there was gunfire, I was mumbling, the harvest begins over and over. Oh lord, what do you mean so much meat? Calibrated drum beat. What's the difference? 60 mag, 40 range. 60 mag, 40 range. Fire rate 160. Fire rate 160. It just seems like it's weaker. I don't understand. Accuracy is 65.6. 65.6 is the exact same. It just seems like it might be a little weaker. Actually, it's a little stronger than my drum beat, actually. I'm reading this wrong. This is only 10 and this is 16. Shit, fine, fuck it. I'll sell the one that I have favorited and I'll favorite this one. I do hold on to this revolver. I like this. This is like the Vash the Stampede gun, only fancy. So I hold on to that one. I don't need that Grendel.
Tactical gears.
Oh, he doesn't have any miscellaneous.
Hi, I'm here if you need me.
Please don't. I hope you actually need. All right.
Give me ship parts. Show me ship parts. Aw, no ship parts. Damn. Club Ugnug. We're a club, not a cult. That's our slogan. Everyone thinks we're a cult. How'd you get that? I can't remember.
Rook, meet Zuri, queen of the rare exports.
If I don't have it, you don't need it.
Neuroamps, blueprints. Hit her up and she'll take care of you.
Speaking of which, you still owe me for that last purchase, Neva. It's like 5 figures. Don't make me collect it the hard way.
The hard way? Oh no. Rook, protect me from Zuri's vengeance. Enough of the bullshit, Zuri. I'll pay you when I pay you. Deal with it. Got a problem with that? Take it up with the boss.
Don't even try to rip me off.
Bradley
I know value when I see it.
I'm sure you know the deal there. He'll buy pretty much anything.
Come on.
If it's hard to find.
Antique computer, what? What the fuck? Portable CD player. Alright, well.
Don't be a stranger.
Actually, you know what?
See anything you'll... Hey, I'm...
Damn it. You kind of suck, lady.
Don't miss me too much.
Okay, this is our final stop. Over there, you've got the last Nova, where Bog serves watered-down drinks at ridiculously exorbitant prices. And right here is the most important place on the entire station, the Reckoner's Core, run by the incomparable Shinya Voss.
Another new Rook, Neva? I can't believe Delgado.
Is this the Ripper Doc?
Given what happened with the last one.
You mean Austin Rake?
I hope that I can max out the main 4 companions' affinity.
This Rook is the one who tied it off.
Perhaps next time you'll try to be a bit more discerning regarding your choices.
Mwah,
It's
mwah.
far more cost-effective.
Yeah, love you too, darling. Anyway, Shinya handles our lifeblood. The money. We call him our Reckoner, but if you ask me, he's actually a pain in the ass.
And Neva will slit your throat if she thinks you'll bleed creds.
Go to hell, boss. Take care of our new friend here, or I'll find a way to pull the pin on that little party popper in your chest. Anyway, Shinya will get you set up in our system. I've got real work to do.
He's the HR guy?
Once you're done, head upstairs and I'll introduce you to the boss.
Time for a proper introduction. I am Shinya Voss, the official reckoner for the Crimson Fleet. And since Neva so thoughtfully mentioned it, yes, this is a bomb embedded in my chest. And no, I'll never know the meaning of the word humble. In fact, I find Delgado's idea of a security measure to be quite empowering.
I hope that I can max out. Oh, yeah, I read that. I've done so many side quests at this point, but yet not as much as I could. So far, I don't know Sarah well, so she's just kind of there. I feel like I've done basically exclusively side quests at this point. That's going to get infected.
That's amusing. I don't think I've heard that one before. Oh, wait. Yes, I have. You might as well dispense with all the stupid jokes. I've been hearing them for years.
You've had a bomb in your chest for years?
Since I oversee the bulk of transactions and maintain all accounts for the fleet, I'm a prime target for information. Should our enemies capture me or I grew any semblance of a moral conscience, you might consider me the greatest threat we have. For Delgado, the bomb grants peace of mind and a certain degree of safety.
I bet you don't get out much.
It's been over 5 years since I've stepped off the key. Leaving this place puts far too much at risk. Now, let me get you set up. A moment while I convene with the core. Thanks to advanced modifications even Ryujin would envy, I can interface directly with our mainframe and the Galbank network. This allows me to move and clean credits faster and more efficiently than any run-of-the-mill cyber runner.
What a miserable life you live, dude.
You're done. All you need now is Delgado's blessing, and you'll be one of us. The perfect segue into my final subject. Thanks to our relations with contacts across the galaxy, we always have a steady stream of jobs available. I've granted you all the necessary permissions to access these listings at any time, using the computers that surround the core.
Why does everybody talk so slowly in this game?
If Neva's chosen wisely, we certainly will. Now, I believe that covers all I have to say, so you can run along to Delgado. Take the elevator to the upper level. You should be able to find your way from there, I hope.
Alright, listen up. You can all stop complaining. Atrium to cargo bay doors have been repaired.
Of course, when the tour is over.
Ah, there's our other new recruit. So, now that we are all here, it's time to get down to business. The two of you are the only rooks that have made the latest cut. The rest, well, let's just say they won't be joining us ever again. Neva's willing to put her neck on the line and vouch for you, which means you've got what it takes to join the Crimson Fleet. You'd better not disappoint, or you'll find yourself answering to me.
A part of me wants to just pull my gun and just start pulling the trigger now. Like, dispense with all the subterfuge and shit and just start blasting. Anyway, so I start blasting.
No one retires. The only way out is death. You stay loyal or you pay the consequences. Fleet before friends. Fleet before family. Fleet before yourself.
That's what a cult leader would say.
Hey, if you've got a problem, I can decorate that wall behind you with your brains.
Try it, bitch. Let's go, bitch. I've got an itchy trigger finger right now.
It's all right, neighbor. I admire this rook's backbone. Takes a lot of guts to crack jokes with the threat of death staring them in the face.
Ditto.
Can we get on with this? I want to get drunk at the last Nova.
I'm impressed. That is the first intelligent thing you have said this entire time, Mathis. Since you two seem so eager to move forward, let's get to your next job. Pack your cold weather gear, rooks. Where we are going, you're going to need it.
Oh, God, don't tell me you're dragging him down to Suvarall for another one of your little initiation runs. 10 Johns to the surface, 12 dead rooks. You'd think by now you would have given up on that goddamn campfire story.
Crix's legacy is no story, neighbor. We've got fresh eyes in the fleet. And if these two want to impress, they're going to help me search those ruins.
I hope you're right, Dale. That new code we grabbed for the lock cost us a ton of credits. And a decent captain.
This initiation, as Neva calls it, is your chance to see where it all began. On Suvorov with Jasper Crix. Crix led the riots that gave birth to the Crimson Fleet. And if his legacy is still out there, we're going to be...
So what, that's like the treasure of Gold Roger? We should tell you more about Crix's legacy.
Through a bit of luck and a hell of a lot of cash, Neva was able to get her hands on an access code to the inside of the lock. This will be the first time someone from the Crimson Fleet has set foot in there for, well, since Crix left the place behind. It has been frustrating being this close to potential clues, but not being able to find a way through those prison walls. Before Crix left the fleet, he left a message talking about a major score. One that would set up the fleet to be a big player in the settled systems.
And I haven't met Andrea yet, but Andrea, I think I'll romance Andrea in my next playthrough. This playthrough, I'm sticking with Andromeda Kepler.
We'll first need a lead.
I haven't been romancing anyone.
We will find one on Suvorov.
My character
Dale's
is
leaving out the best part.
very arrow
That this
ace.
whole search is based on a handful of words.
Y'all talk too
Crix
much.
left a lot of it.
You talk too fucking much.
When we get our hands on Crix's legacy,
At least this guy's got his arms folded. It was aggravating how many Bethesda games just have people standing there not doing anything with their hands in dialogue. We'll be unstoppable. It's a little overly ambitious. Let's just get on with it. Let's do that.
sounds like someone wants to get down to business. Okay, enough discussion. We have got a lot of work to do. To that end, the next stop is the lock. I've had Jazz feed the coordinates into your ship's computer. Since Mathis doesn't have a ship, he's going to ride with me. I'll see you down there, Rook. Don't keep me waiting.
Wow.
Shooting at ghosts now.
How hard is it to get this like that?
Ah, where was all that shit talking?
Get down.
I'm bleeding over here! Not like this.
All these people, they can't die for story reasons. Oh, you really? You're gonna run up on me and fucking punch me? What the fuck kind of plan was that? So what, they can't die for story reasons? Lame. I thought the UC Navy wanted to take out the Crimson Fleet. I thought you wanted the Crimson Fleet dead. Look, I'm doing the thing for you. I think this is the kind of thing that makes people kind of frustrated with this game with respects to like what you can do in Baldur's Gate. Like, I think in Baldur's Gate, you would have just been able to take out the Crimson Fleet that way if, you know, you really wanted to. And it would have been cool if I could do that too. Like, all these shit-talking motherfuckers thinking that they're badasses. I would love to be able to just wipe them. But, you know, story. Narrative. Alright. I'm gonna take off. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here. You can't actually romance Andromeda, but it's an RPG, I can pretend. Plus, it helps that she is typically only crew member that hangs out in my captain's quarters and sleeps in the bed in there. Oh, well, you got a lot of role-playing potential to do there. I wonder why you can't romance her. Sometimes I think about how you aren't even supposed to think about how many people you've killed in games where a major part of the setting is the humanity is endangered. Like, guys, we're going extinct. How about you stop shooting for like a second? No, in these types of games, like, the shooting is only amplified. You gotta maximize the output, the damage output. Yeah, I wish you could straight up kill people. Story people, at least. And then have that affect the story. I mean, I would have loved to have seen how the whole bring down the Crimson Fleet thing would unfold if I single-handedly brought down the Crimson Fleet. You could only romance Andrea, Barrett, Sarah, and Sam. I'm not going to say anything. I think I'm further in the Constellation story than you are, so I'm not going to say anything. I've heard some frankly insane shit from game developers I otherwise respect about Fallout New Vegas lately. They're trying to defend Bethesda games by shitting on it and going, people only like it because the quests have more nodes in it. It has no substance. What? Like, yeah, when you boil a game down to just the numbers and pay zero attention to everything else, you can try to say New Vegas has little, but like, it's weird to hear otherwise very smart people say genuinely stupid things. Wait, what? More nodes. Good stream, good job. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my night. I can't do another 5-hour Starfield stream. I gotta wean myself off of this game a little bit. But that probably just means I'll do a 5-hour stream of Starfield tomorrow, so. As it goes. Let's see. I'll just end it. No raid for tonight. I'll be streaming tomorrow though, so all y'all join me again tomorrow. We'll have fun. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Take it easy. Talk to you later.